I will start this video by a request. If I am assisting you in win your bets and generating revenue, I kindly request your support in revitalizing this channel. Your assistance is instrumental in fortifying my YouTube presence. Please consider joining our Patreon support tier to contribute to the channel's growth. Thank you for your consideration and support. You will find the link in the bio and comment section. Lightning versus Penguins. The Lightning have been a force to be reckoned with this season, with a potent offense led by Kucherov and Stamkos. They also have a solid defense, allowing only 2.97 goals per game. Meanwhile, the Penguins have struggled on defense, allowing 3.24 goals per game. The Lightning should be able to take advantage of this weakness. This is a must-win game for the Pittsburgh Penguins. Panthers versus Bruins. The Bruins have been one of the league's best defensive teams this season, allowing only 2.39 goals per game. Goaltender Linus Ullmark has been outstanding, with a .935 save percentage. Meanwhile, the Panthers have been strong on offense, but have struggled on defense, allowing 3.18 goals per game. The Bruins should be able to shut down the Panthers' offense. The Bruins have won 3 straight matchups with the Panthers, including a 3-2 victory the last time they played at TD Garden. Florida has failed to win in Boston in 5 straight games played there. The Bruins have an advantage on offense, ranking in the top 10 in the league in average goals scored per game. The Bruins have won over 60% of their games played at TD Garden this year. While Florida has been strong away from their home stadium this season, they have stumbled a bit lately, losing 3 of their last 4 on the road. Despite the Panthers' dominant defense, their goaltenders have allowed 5 goals or more to their opponents in 2 of their last 3 away games. Florida lost a key part of their defense this week when Aaron Ekblad sustained an injury that will most likely end his season. The trend strongly suggests the Bruins will come out on top in Boston in this battle of Eastern Conference Titans. Take Boston. Jets versus Wild. Minnesota have been a well-rounded team this season, with a solid defense allowing only 2.94 goals per game and an offense led by Kaprizov, who has 74 points in 55 games. Meanwhile, the Jets have been inconsistent this season, with a mediocre defense allowing 3.14 goals per game. Minnesota should be able to exploit this weakness and win. Stars versus Blackhawks. The Stars have been playing well lately, with a balanced roster and solid goaltending from Jake Oettinger. They have a strong offense led by Jason Robertson, who has 35 goals in 55 games. Meanwhile, the Blackhawks have struggled this season, with a weak defense allowing 3.53 goals per game. The Stars should be able to take advantage of this weakness and win the game. Blues versus Sharks. The Blues have been strong on both offense and defense this season, with a potent offense led by Tarasenko and O'Reilly, and a solid defense allowing only 2.83 goals per game. Meanwhile, the Sharks have struggled on offense, with only 2.79 goals per game. The Blues should be able to handle the Sharks' weak offense. Devils versus Senators. The Devils have a young and talented roster, with Hughes and Hischier leading the way on offense. They also have a solid defense, allowing only 2.96 goals per game. Meanwhile, the Senators have struggled on defense, allowing 3.25 goals per game. The Devils should be able to exploit this weakness. On paper, this should be a very good matchup between 2 solid teams that have failed to live up to expectations this year. But the edge has to be given to New Jersey, who have a 6-4 record in their past 10 head-to-head encounters. Over that time, the Devils have picked up a solid 4-2 record in their past 6 meetings in Ottawa, including a dominant 6-2 victory earlier this season in Ottawa. But with the far superior offense and the play of the goaltending as of late, this should be a big victory for New Jersey. Flyers versus Blue Jackets. The Flyers have been playing well lately, with a solid roster and strong goaltending from Carter Hart. They have a balanced offense led by Travis Konechny, who has 27 goals in 54 games. Meanwhile, the Blue Jackets have struggled this season, with a weak defense allowing 3.43 goals per game. The Flyers should be able to take advantage of this weakness. Despite the Flyers' obvious talent advantage in 2023-24, this has been one of the most even rivalries in the NHL in recent years, with their past 10 head-to-head encounters resulting in a 5-5 mark between these 2 Metropolitan Division teams. Their record in Columbus is 2-2 in their past 4 games, but with the Flyers just 1 point up on the Capitals and 2 points up on the Penguins in the wild card race, this game could be the difference in their season. so expect their best in this one for a huge victory. Maple Leafs versus Canadiens. The Maple Leafs have been one of the league's best offensive teams this season, with Matthews and Marner leading the way. They also have a solid defense, allowing only 2.71 goals per game. Meanwhile, the Canadiens have struggled on defense, allowing 3.63 goals per game. The Maple Leafs should be able to exploit this weakness. The Toronto Maple Leafs are 10-18 against the puck line as favorites on the road this season. The Montreal Canadiens have a 22-11 record against the puck line as underdogs at home this season. The Maple Leafs are without Mitch Marner, and Montreal is motivated to keep the Maple Leafs out of a good playoff position. I am going to take the Canadiens to keep this game close and cover their spread. Take the Canadiens at plus 1.5 runs. Predators versus Islanders. The Islanders have been one of the league's best defensive teams this season, allowing only 2.41 goals per game. Goaltender Ilya Sorokin has been outstanding, with a .923 save percentage. Meanwhile, the Predators have struggled on offense, with only 2.88 goals per game. The Islanders should be able to shut down the Predators' offense. New York has been playing great hockey as of late, and this is a good spot to take the Islanders at home at a pick-'em price. The Islanders have been defending well and should be able to limit the Predators' offense to get the win. New York has been solid at home, and this hot streak should continue as everything is clicking on all cylinders. Take the Islanders on the money line. Canucks versus Kings. The Kings have a balanced roster this season, with solid goaltending from Quick and a potent offense led by Kopitar. They also have a decent defense, allowing 2.97 goals per game. Meanwhile, the Canucks have been inconsistent this season, with a mediocre defense allowing 3.46 goals per game. The Kings should be able to handle the Canucks' inconsistent play. At first glance, I was a bit surprised Vancouver was coming in as the underdogs, but upon closer inspection, I am leaning towards the home side in this contest. Thatcher Demko is a big loss for the Canucks, and the Kings have beaten the Canucks in their last 4 or 5 meetings. Vancouver hasn't been at their peak as of late, as evidenced by their 5-4-1 record in their last 10. LA has won their last 6 of 9 overall, and Lindholm is another big loss for the Canucks. As tempting as taking the Kings on the spread at a plus 200 is, I expect this to be a close game. If you have the opportunity to risk it and aren't afraid to lose what you put in, I'd take the Kings with the spread. However, if you're looking to get a simple win with less risk, I'd take the Kings on the money line. Oilers versus Flames. The Oilers have one of the league's best offenses this season, with McDavid and Draisaitl leading the way. They also have a decent defense, allowing 3.08 goals per game. Meanwhile, the Flames have struggled on defense, allowing 3.13 goals per game. The Oilers should be able to exploit this weakness. The Oilers clinched a playoff berth with a win in their last game, while the Flames are out of the playoffs and have lost their last 2 games. Edmonton is 5 points clear of Vegas for the second spot in the Pacific Division, so they still have some business to take care of. Their solid attack had only totaled 2 goals and 2 losses before blowing up for 6 goals in their last game. They will stay hot on the attack, facing a Calgary team that has given up 5 goals in 3 of their last 4 games, including their last 2. The Flames will also have a pretty good game on offense, likely facing Edmonton backup G. Calvin Pickard, who gave up 5 goals in his last start. Even though the Oilers played last night and will not be as rested, their attack will be solid, and that is the main reason they are the pick to win this game. Take the Oilers.